Hi, it's Tara from Caeli's Couture Quilting, and I just want to go and talk about my memory and t-shirt quilts and the quality products that I put into them to make you an heirloom product. So first I want to show you what I'm currently working on. I sometimes double task, sometimes I have something upstairs that's long arming, and then I'm in the downstairs studio working on making the top for your quilt. So let's see what's going on right now. Okay, so I'm currently working on a specialty quilt, requested specialty quilt. So I've never done this one before. So this is a different type of layout. It uses a lot of fabric, but this person has 15 shirts because you can't use any more than 15. And you have to use a 12.5-inch square. So when you do that, a 12.5-inch square, you got to consider how much you can get within that zone, that quilt zone. So I'll give you an example. I don't use this one a lot in the standard quilts. I have the square. This was just what this pattern had called for. So my normal cutout would be the 14.5. And basically I cut it at 14.5 or I cut it at 12.5. And then it finishes at 12 or it finishes at 14. So when you're looking through your loved one's items and garments, you're going to need to make sure that for the standard quilt that you can get a 14.5 cut out from that shirt. Okay. There are some creative things we can do if it's like a child shirt. We can piece things together if we need to. But I'll just let you know that that's the standard one. That's the one that you see the prices for online. So 14.5 is perfect because it normally gets most of the design plus a little bit of the color around the design. Okay, 12.5 kind of gets a little small nowadays because the schools are putting a lot more onto their shirts. So I don't use this one very much, but I had to for this custom that this customer wanted. So there you go. Also, I have a 16.5, but when you see the 16.5 and see how big it is, you may get your design, but you're getting a lot of color. So sometimes that doesn't look that great on t-shirt quilts, but it's there as well in case you do have huge designs on your shirts. But really the custom, or the standard layout block is going to be a 14.5. So when you look through your shirts, 14.5 is what you want to do. Before I even cut your shirts, and please do not cut your shirts. That's one thing I put on the website. Don't cut your shirts. I'll cut them for you because that could be a mess. I might need a big piece of your shirt. So don't cut it. I do all that work. That's what you pay me for. So I will do all the cutting. I will mess up my floors. You don't have to mess up your floors because I will then fuse either this stabilizer or this stabilizer onto your shirt before I even cut it into that square. That's very important. I have to do this first and use my steam machine, and it's the high-tech steam machine, to fuse all of this product onto the back of your shirt before I cut it in that square. So woven or just the standard interfacing that you use is what I'll use. I use this sometimes when you might have like a pinhole in the shirt. So this one did. And I was like, oh, let's just play it safe. So I did that. I can't use big holes. If there was like a huge hole here, that would be a problem because I could stabilize it or try to back it. It could be an issue. So I just look through your shirts, make sure you don't have huge holes. We can take care of little pinholes in the quilts, but but big holes can be an issue. So let's go through that and keep that in mind as you go through your shirts. Okay, so that's why I use this woven stuff for that. And then I'll use this for the other. It keeps it nice and light and makes it a really good huggable interfacing for your quilt. Dare to enter the batting room. No, we're not going to. We have lots of rolls just like this in here. I have poly, I have bamboo, I have wool, I have 80-20. 80-20 is what I use for memory quilts. It keeps them light, it keeps them huggable, not stiff. Poly is going to be a little stiffer. That's what you want for like North Dakota. In Florida, a lot of kids are here going to Florida, so we use 80-20. And that just really nice, keeps the shape of the quilt really nice, and it produces a great product. So the types I use are Quilter Stream and Hobbs, and those are the best in the industry for a quality quilt. This stuff is tough, and when I go upstairs to show you, this stuff is this is 80-20 right here. This stuff, you can see how nice that is compared to like some of the junky stuff you see in like Joann's. I'm sorry for dogging the store, but it's true. I'm only going to buy stuff I think will make your quilt last, and that's for people I long arm for and for my memory quilts. You can see it's very good, and it's made nice. It's not going to separate from a pool. That's what I like to see. The next part here is the quality of solids I have. I use AGF Art Gallery Fabric Solids. They are the best in the industry. I don't use Joann's. I don't even use Kona and Bella solids anymore because AGF is the best product. So I've been using these for a while, and I love them. They don't fray. I don't have to battle with that. Well, it's like they even advertise themselves as being 0 to no fray. And that's important when you're cutting and making borders and backings. Something that's going to be quality. They have a high text TEX rating. So these are lovely. And I always keep them nice and wrapped. Everything is nice and wrapped. I keep my area very clean, but I value the product, and I always wrap it back in what it came in, or saran wrap it. And that just keeps dust, any kind of dust that might want to come on there, even though I do dust. But I do that even for the products I'm going to sell on Etsy. So lots of nice, wonderful, beautiful products here. Nicely wrapped. And here is the machine that does all the quilting. 12-foot machine. Her name is Lucy. Yes, she has a name. And she does all the quilting for our long arm quilting, edge to edge, and our memory and t-shirt quilts. And right now I'm working on a custom still. I'm almost done. And you can see this is what I've done freehand. So that's what I do for custom. Any kind of times I have to do like ruler quilting and things like that, that's going to be a custom job. Okay. I can quilt your edge-to-edge memory quilt and t-shirt quilts with themes. So you can see that they're stitching here. Imagine like a theme here with musical notes or something that was all the way through and repeated all the way through. That's the kind of style you would get with your memory and t-shirt quilts. And so I've done lots of musical note ones before, so I just pulled that one up so you could see. But I have tons of sports. I mean, I have lots of designs. There's tons on the internet I can pull. I have a subscription base I can pull from, or I can buy some. So that's no cost to you. That's just whatever theme that you want for your loved one or for yourself, that we'll just pull it for you. And I have some ones in a book that I'll bring and show you to give you at least an idea of where to go, but we can always find some more online. Maybe they're not into sports. Maybe they were into environmental clubs. We have turtles. We have drama. I've done some teacher quilts, you can tell. Baseball. We've done some ones where they were into camping. So I've done basketball, soccer. There's tons. So I can do pretty much anything that we can find together that would fit the interests of your loved one and yourself when it comes to making these quilts for you. So basically it's stitching that design into the top of your quilt. layers of the quilt. You'll have your backing that I put on the back on my back rollers. I have your batting that goes in the inside, and this is that tough stuff I was telling you about earlier for the batting. And your top goes here, and I always roll my top so that it rolls nice and even and square. Makes everything easier for me when I'm done, and I can bring it over. Sorry for the mess for the table here. I will square it off on this big table and make it nice and perfect. So it's not done after I'm done with this. So this one's a full job. So when I'm done customing this one, the customer asks that I do a binding. So I'll do a binding around. I'll cut it and then make some other fabric, and basically it kind of keeps all three of these layers together, and it wraps around and is stitched down. So you'll have that all like a rim all the way around your quilt. To give you an idea of the binding, you can see it from here. Is that little bit of edge that keeps everything together. So the basics of the video is to let you know how much love is going into your quilt. This is computerized machine. It quilts everything perfectly for us. I used to do all that by hand. I used to stitch those notes by myself. I used to move the machine around myself and stitch your designs. But since I got her computerized, the computerized is doing all of it, but it does even a better job, I think, because I can adjust how high I want it to be, and it just comes out really perfect. So you're getting a great heirloom product. This is a real quilt. It's meant to last for a long time, and I hope that you can trust Caeli's Couture Quilting with your t-shirt and memory quilt needs. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.